Hello, today on Pages and Pages I wanted to introduce a new segment that I'm going to call Book versus Book, because I think Battle of the Books is already taken and is something I did in middle school. In this high drama video, I am going to be presenting two books that I've read and pitting them in a head-to-head challenge to see which one's the winner and which one gets the book drop. How do I know which one's the winner? I have very subjective standards. But here's the interactive bit. I want your subjective standards to be involved too. So at the end of this video, I'm going to associate one of the books with the like button and one of them with the dislike button, and then we can show support for the book that you prefer. Let's do it. So basically what I've done is I've read two books that from all external appearances seem to be in conversation with each other. This week it was the titles that gave away, but it could be anything, era, genre, something that indicates the authors had a little chat happening, because I like eavesdropping. So without further ado, this week's contenders are both meaty scrappers determined to have the final say. We've got George Orwell's 1984, a classic, squaring off against Haruki Murakami's Q-teen-84, the recent international bestseller. And here's the stats.
1984 was published in 1949 by George Orwell. This dystopian future novel defined the dystopian future novel that we've all come to know and love. Weighing in at 300 pages, plus a linguistic appendix, this compelling yet dense little miscreant reads like something between a gritty crime thriller and a treatise on political theory. In other words, this was totally vibrant in all the right places, and appropriately dull in the others. This book can only be described as a complete and total mind trip. The chronological challenger is Q-teen-84. Haruki Murakami published this wildly popular usurper in Japan in 3 installments from 2009 to 2010. A hefty 925 pages, this book details the fantastical and extremely strange love story of the two main characters. Surprisingly, it read pretty close to a Russian novel, although the yummy Japanese recipes and the abundance of classical music recommendations gave it a softer tone.
So what do these books have in common? Turns out, a lot. Starting with the obvious, the setting, the year 1984. Murakami had the undeniable advantage of writing after the actual year 1984 that happened. Both books are nestled quite comfortably into their settings, and their titles show it. Beyond their titles, there's a lot of other themes that these books have in common. In fact, so many that I don't really have time to go into all of them. But here's just a few. Not loneliness, we have weird children. Nature, paradox, religion, sex, war, the list goes on. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. Let it suffice to say that both of these books are examples of craftsman wordsmiths at play. What do I mean by that? Both authors are clearly exploring their roles as fiction fabricators and playing with the idea of reality and what that means in the worlds they create. They suggest that in some ways these worlds inside these books are as real as our own, if only because they created them and brought them into a real existence here. So there is a lot of mind-bending meta stuff happening in both of these books. I think both of these books are examples of brilliant minds at play, and therefore both are very well worth your time. But there can only be one winner in this video. The strength of 1984 to me lay in its beautiful structure. It's laid out into 3 segments beginning and ending at contrary points in the character's life, suggesting a kind of transformation from think of it like a color image to the negative image. And it's horrifying to watch and amazingly well put together. Every word has been thought through. The strength of Q-teen-84 was its contemporaneity. Written more recently, it adhered to the view of the world that I carry a little more closely, and was able to pull the rug out under from my perception of reality because it stands on the same rug. That said, there's a lot of problems I have with this, like the characterization of all of the females in it, as well as the level of violence that it portrayed. Again, I probably have more issues with this one because it was written in the era that I live in, and the plausibility strikes me more keenly than it does in 1984. Although, I would imagine the effect that this book had on me was similar to the effect that 1984 had on people living in the 50s. So at this point I have to choose. Shoot. I thought this would be easier somehow. So the winner is Q1884. Because although I didn't like it as much, it struck a lot closer to home and forced me to confront issues and form opinions on things that I might not have otherwise. Although the experience of reading 1984 was undoubtedly more pleasant, I also realized that I was a little more detached from it. Whereas with Q1884, I was unable to extricate myself from his project. Which means, unfortunately, that 1984 gets the book drop. Wah, 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 wah. Now it's time to let me know your opinions, though. Did you hate the copious amounts of repetition in Q1884? Did you love the coral paperweight in 1984? Let me know. So right now, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you want to vote for Q1884, or a thumbs down if you want to vote for 1984. Or show me how much you liked this video by clicking subscribe. If you have any requests for future matchups, go ahead and let me know down in the comments, and thank you for watching!